Hello, 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 hello. Today is someday. I think it's the 7th of January, 2025. My name may or may not be Richard F. Yates, depending on which world this is. You never know when you wake up which one you're going to be in. I think I'm in the one where I'm Richard F. Yates. So, back to regular scheduled events and fun. So I'm picking up grandkid number one. Uh, I think she's out of school in about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I don't know. I'm not super good with time, so I just show up an hour early for everything that I do. That way I'll be there. And then I'll take the time to do this kind of weird stuff where I sit and look at a machine. It's sunny and bright outside, which is really creepy for January. It's like 50 something degrees, which that's practically summertime weather around here. But picking Felicity up, that's the granddaughter, and then we're going to go to the Longview Public Library for a little while. Hopefully she'll run around and get some energy out, and we'll kill about an hour. And then she's got to go to the eye clinic where my wife Mariah works so that she can get her eyes checked. She's supposed to be wearing glasses and stuff lately, and we'll see how well she's been wearing glasses. She's 5. So it's not easy to get the glasses stuck to her head, even with that strap that they've got to help her keep it on her head. I don't know. Something about little kids not liking to help themselves. It's kind of like, actually, it's our whole damn family. Our whole dang family doesn't like to help itself. We're just not into help, I guess. We're not into keeping ourselves healthy. Although I've been trying lately, since the 1st of, January, which was a whole 6 days ago. I haven't had any soda, which I've quit a couple of times, but I think this is the one I'm going to cut it for sure. And neither have I had any booze, no alcohol, which I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because then you're tasting reality like full on, and no one wants that, do they? I sure don't. I mean, what do they call that? Sober, and that's no fun. Because part of the fun of being an old grouchy person is being an old grouchy drunk person. But as of this week, I still have not had any of them there boozes, so we'll see how long that lasts. Our attempt this year is going to be to have a more positive outlook on the world, and it's not going to be easy, so this will be what we call a challenge, which I'm up for a challenge. I think challenges are okay. The thing I'm not up for is getting sunshine all over me, and that's what seems to be happening. Look at this evil sunshine. It's awful. Awful. Stuff's killing us. The sun. If we could get rid of the sun, that's what we should do. What was I saying? Oh, I'm going to be more positive, by getting rid of the sun. That's my plan. So we'll go kill time at the library. Jumping back and forth from different concepts because that's the only way my head works now. Let's see, what was that? For our positivity plan, Mariah and I have planned a couple of outings. We already have time scheduled to go to the Oregon Ghost Con, which we've gone to a couple times in the last 3 or 4 years. I think we've gone all but 1 year. It's in Seaside, Oregon, and it's just a fun little place where all these people talk about ghosts, and neither Mariah nor I are particularly believers in ghosts, but that doesn't mean I'm a folklore fan, so I like going to hear other people's concepts of how they construct the world. It's like I don't necessarily believe in anything, but I do like to read ghost stuff, Bigfoot stuff, UFO stuff. I read all of it. Watch the shows. I mean, I'm a big fan of monsters and ghosts and everything like that. And it would be neat for there to be some way for those things to happen. I just haven't yet experienced it in my own way. Alan Moore has come pretty close, and I mean, the beard's probably the giveaway that I like Alan Moore. But Alan Moore, his philosophy of magic is one that I really kind of connect with, because he is suggesting in things like the Bumper Book of Magic and a lot of his old interviews that the magic element of it isn't necessarily supernatural in the sense it's psychological. It's the way you look at the world, and in a very real sense, changing the way you think about the world, which can change the way you act and do things and create, can make real changes in the environment around you. So whether it's supernatural or not, there is something to creation and magic and that kind of thing from a psychological standpoint. Like he says, the one place where gods and demons absolutely exist is in people's heads. And so I try to get them out onto paper and sometimes cardboard, but following along with the Alan Moore tradition. So, and speaking of Alan Moore, who writes comic books, I'm going to try today to do something I haven't done yet on my NeoCities page, which is I'm going to review a book. I'm gonna do a comic book review. Let's see if it's backwards. That's Weasel Patrol. Weasel Patrol #1. That's what I'm going to start with. When I was doing, I tried doing this on Patreon, and nobody gave a shit, so I gave up. But maybe I'll do a video of it once I get it read. But I'm going to read that book today, Weasel Patrol #1. It's from like 86 or 87, maybe. I can't remember. I've had it since it came out, so it's been a long time, since the 80s. And I'll read it, and if it's fun, I'll decide that I'm going to keep it, and it'll go in a box that says keep. And if it's not fun, or at least I have difficulties with it for some reason, either it's boring, or it's offensive, or it's something I don't care for, or I just don't think I'll ever read it again, I'm going to put it in the trade pile. Last time I did it, I called it Keep or NFM, which was not for me. But this time I'm going to be a little less cryptic and just call it Keep or Trade. And then I'll have a list of things that I'm going to trade away. And if you want it, then send me a note and I'll mail it to you if you mail me something. And then that way there's no money changing hands. It's just a way to kind of circulate stuff. Because circulation is the key to happiness. I've written that on a lot of the junk art that I've sent out in the mail. Postal art and that kind of fun stuff. Which, I say junk art, and I don't mean that to be disparaging, because I love junk art. I'm a huge fan of, like, stuff that you find in secondhand shops and garage sales and, garbage cans. Although not mine, because I don't throw anything away. I really should more often. But this way, because I have 6 or 8 boxes of comics at home, and I used to have a lot more than that, but every time I move I leave a bunch of stuff wherever it was I just moved from. So I had a whole slug of comics, I think 16 boxes at one point, or maybe not quite that many, 10 or 15 at least, that I left when we moved out of a place 10 years ago, that I kept thinking, we're gonna go get those, and then we never did. So they're just, somebody got a huge comic collection of stuff going all the way back to the 60s, and there was probably thousands of dollars worth of stuff in there. I know because my older daughter broke into the house after we'd moved out, before anybody else had moved in, and grabbed a handful of books from the collection that I had, that somebody else had broken into the house and dumped them all over the floor. So she just grabbed a bunch and stuck them in boxes. But one of them was Werewolf by Night number 32, which was the first appearance of Moon Knight, and I borrowed it back from her and then sold it, and I think we got like $800 or $1,000 or something for it. So, and that was just one of the books that I had in that collection. I had a bunch of old, X-Men junk. Money has never been my big deal, though. I like stories, and so I'm going to read Weasel Patrol, and if the story's good, I'll keep it. If the story's not my taste, doesn't mean it's not somebody else's. If it's not my taste, I'll trade it away. And anybody who wants to read Weasel Patrol, I'll mail it to them, and they can mail me something. And I don't even care what it is, just another book, something funny. I like weird stuff, so if it's, I don't know, Centrifugal Bubble Puppy or something like that, I would love to have those again. I had a whole slug of the Centrifugal Bubble Puppies, which was late 80s, early 90s sort of alternative comic stuff. I love that. So I'll get in more of the details of that after I finish the book and write up my little thing and start a NeoCities page about it. So in the meantime, Felicity should be out here eventually, someday soon, and then we'll go to the library. And I bought a bunch of like blank cardboard and some pens. So while she's running around breaking stuff and playing with other little kids, I'll draw some pictures. And then later on, I'll sit in the car, and actually I might do that as soon as I'm done with this, and read Weasel Patrol #1, and that'll be my first book. And I had like 15 books that I went through and did for the Keep or Not for Me. I'll probably just reread those and redo them, see if my original assessment still holds, if it's still something I'm willing to trade away, and then I'll just add it to the new list, and then see if anybody wants to trade with me. And if they don't, then I'll get a whole box worth and take them down to a comic shop somewhere and see if they'll give me credit for more stuff to buy out of the 50-cent bins. Woo! You know what I'm saying? Okay, thanks for stopping by. My name has been Richard F. Yates. Look for me at Richard F. Yates NeoCities. I'm also on Patreon at Richard F. Yates. And I'm all over a bunch of other junk. RICHARDFYATES. It's just where I am. Everywhere but Twitter/X. Because, F that guy. That's the way I feel about it. Although I'm trying to be more positive. So don't F him too hard. Alright, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.